This is what our kitchen looked like when we first bought our home. 2 short months after moving in, we got hit with one of the worst hurricanes in history, Hurricane Harvey. We were one of the ones who were affected, but fortunately we only had just under 24 inches of water flood our home. Just after moving in, I had already sanded and restained all of the drawers, painted the countertops, and replaced the hardware. I didn't have any pictures except for the ones where the damage was already there. So we had to gut the kitchen completely and start fresh. We had the cabinets professionally built and replaced the tongue and grooves with sheetrock. Y'all came in when the kitchen already looked like this, and since then, we've built a DIY kitchen island together and a fridge cabinet surround.
Hey guys, welcome back. Hopefully I got you all up to speed on this DIY kitchen makeover that I am working on. But before we dive into the final reveal of this kitchen makeover and the process, I do want to thank the sponsor of today's video, Stash. I will share more information about them later on in the video. Now let's go ahead and finish this kitchen off.
I will be painting the walls, so I started by removing all of the wall outlet covers. The color that I am using is called Snowbound by Sherwin-Williams. I always like to start by cutting in all of the edges before rolling the paint.
I want to quickly take a moment to talk to you about the sponsor of today's video, Stash. Now, how many of you are like me and have always wanted to invest your money but didn't know where to begin, or you thought you needed a lot of money to even start? Well, let me tell you, it's a lot simpler than you might think. I've been using Stash for over the last several months, and to my surprise and probably yours, you can actually begin investing on a regular basis with just $5. Stash offers 3 different simple plans you can choose from that best suits you. The simplicity of the app can make it easy to start your investing journey, and Stash has given me the knowledge and tools I can use to begin creating a better financial future with investing. It's as simple as downloading the free app, adding cash to your account, and you can begin investing in minutes. And Stash has a special offer exclusive to my viewers. If you sign up for Stash using the link in the description or in the pinned comment and deposit as little as $1, Stash will give you a bonus of $50. Let Stash help you start your financial journey.
Now back to the video. To roll the paint, I am using my Wagner Easy Roller. After using it once before on my closet makeover, I decided I will most likely never roll paint with a tray again. This keeps the mess at a minimum and somehow cuts down on the time as well. It took 3 coats to get full coverage.
Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, you probably guessed it, is I'm going to be painting the window. Now, I know this is only temporary because obviously over time Even just the handles themselves, I'm sure the paint is gonna chip and stuff like that. But we are slowly replacing all of the windows in the house. Windows cost a lot of money. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that or not, but they do. The cheaper alternative for me as of right now is to just paint this window, just so that I can have the aesthetic that I'm wanting without having to sacrifice the cost. I am gonna be using Beyond Paint.
After 2 coats, I moved on to filling all of the holes on this casing leading into the kitchen. While I waited on that to dry, I used some backer rod to fill this gap above the trim before caulking it. By then the wood filler had dried, so I sanded it down and primed it with some shellac-based primer to avoid any bleed through before applying 2 coats of pure white latex paint. I used the same paint to paint the window trim as well. I moved on to measuring and cutting the missing trim next to the stove and attached it using some brad nails. I caulked all of the edges and wood filled all of my nail holes. On the side directly next to the fridge, I did have to remove some of the sheetrock in order to have it sit flushed. The fridge surround needed crown molding to finish it off and have it match the other cabinets. I measured and cut it and attached it with brad nails. After one side, I remembered I needed to remove the light fixture before I could attach the other side, so I moved on instead to building out my floating shelves. To build my floating shelves, I am using 1/2-inch plywood. I am building these at 4 feet in length, so after cutting down the sheet to 4 feet, I moved on to moving the blade to a 45-degree angle on my table saw so that I could miter all of the edges. For the shorter ends, I used my miter saw. I attached all of the sides together with some wood glue and brad nails. I then cut all of the pieces needed for the support out of 2x2s. I wood filled all of the seams and nail holes, and once they were set, I moved on to sanding them using 120 grit followed by 220. I built out my supports, making sure to drill pilot holes before inserting the screws. I am using a pre-stained wood conditioner and waited 30 minutes before adding the stain. I used the color Special Walnut. After finding the studs and marking the placement, I attached the support and then slid the shelves right into them.
Okay, much better.
Finally, it was time to replace all of the light fixtures. My husband helped me to remove the fan and move the lights over to have them placed right over top the kitchen cabinet.
That's good.
I patched up the old light fixture holes using these mesh patches and some spackling. Once dry, I sanded it smooth before adding another thin coat and then added texture and finally painted it to match the ceiling. While I waited on it to dry, I attached my remaining crown molding, caulked and painted it to match the cabinets.
Okay, so if you tuned into this DIY kitchen island video, there was quite a few of you guys who were asked about how did I attach the countertop to the actual cabinet. The answer is I didn't. At the time when I built this, I wasn't sure if I was going to leave the overhang. So now that I know, I am going to keep the overhang. I've already measured. It's perfectly even all the way around, front, back, and sides. I'm going to be using just some corner braces. Found these at my local hardware store. You can find them at Lowe's, Home Depot. And I'm just going to attach them on the inside of the cabinet. So let's go ahead and get these on there.
I picked up these small lights to go under the cabinets from Amazon. With some help, I followed the instructions and built out my bar stools. The last thing was to add a carpet runner. Now let's take a moment to remember what this kitchen used to look like. and what it looks like now. Thank y'all so much for watching and sticking it out with me through this whole process. Hopefully this video brought you some inspiration, motivation, or just entertainment. I loved sharing the whole process with you, and I will see y'all on my next video. Bye!